We're jumping right in. It's episode Sherlock Holmes. Released in December of 2009. I kind of want to... We're going to talk about... Got a few things here. Just give some context of what was happening in 2009 and some awards.
Do we need to do
some
our
other
rules?
movies. We'll get to our rules, yep.
Cool.
But I kind of want to... Why we're doing Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, why are we doing Sherlock Holmes?
This was a movie... Well, first off, so at the time of the recording, Sherlock Holmes is on Netflix. There's only a couple weeks left, and it will no longer be on Netflix. There was one night I was looking for a movie to watch recently, a couple weeks ago actually, and my wife loves horror movies and action movies. I'm not a big horror fan, so I went to the action section of Netflix and I saw Sherlock Holmes. I was like, you know what? It's been a long time since I've seen Sherlock Holmes. And I got about halfway through, and that's when I texted you guys.
Let's do
Let's
this.
do Sherlock Holmes.
Let's do it.
Because on multiple occasions, you guys have mentioned Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
On your own, organically, in different contexts.
Yep.
So I thought I had a pretty good shot that we would get Sherlock Holmes.
I'm just glad that the committee
Agreed.
agreed to this. Because without their assistance and their help, we would never come to any decision.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really good. Nice job, committee. The selection committee, right?
That's right.
It's not the steering committee.
The SC.
It's a selection committee.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
In 2009, the top song is I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas.
I got a feeling. Ooh.
That this is going to be a great podcast.
Yeah.
Kanye West interrupts Taylor Swift at the MTV VMAs.
Well, how does he interrupt her?
Well, she wins an award. He runs up on stage, takes the mic from her, pretty much says that he thought Beyonce should have won.
Oh, boy.
Rapper Coolio attempted to stage dive. Nobody caught him, and he was beaten up and had his shoes stolen. I actually remember that video.
I don't remember that. Oh, my gosh.
I don't think I realized it was Coolio, though.
Oh, wow.
Was he that bad?
I don't know. He must have not sang Gangster's Paradise.
Nobody caught him.
Nobody caught him. They beat him up and took his shoes.
So he did not read the crowd very well.
Yeah.
Wow.
The City Council of Madison, Wisconsin voted to make the plastic lawn flamingo the city's official bird.
Where's this at?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Not Florida.
Right.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Not Vegas.
Wisconsin.
Interesting.
Not Nevada. Sorry.
Okay.
Vegas. Yeah. All right. The Academy Awards. Best Picture goes to The Hurt Locker. And The Hurt Locker's director, Catherine Bigelow, wins Best Director. Jeff Bridges wins Best Actor for Crazy Heart. And Sandra Bullock takes home Best Actress for The Blind Side. Best Art Direction, Avatar.
Oh.
Which was by far probably the best movie that year.
And recently reclaimed the highest grossing film of all time.
Oh, it
It's
did?
still being shown in theaters, apparently.
Are you kidding me? Overseas somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. By the way, Zoe Saldana,
Yeah?
she's in Avatar and she's part of the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
She is in the top 2 highest grossing films of all time. Top 2 or 3.
Is she Australian?
Or
Or New Zealand? She's from New Zealand?
I think she's from like
Or England. One of those three.
South America. I'm going to find out real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be quick. Maybe not. She was born in New Jersey.
So I was way off.
I was thinking of the movie Columbiana that she was in.
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana.
It's not the same lady, that girl that played in Thor, was it?
No, she's in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's the green.
That's why I was screwing that up.
Yeah.
My bad. I screwed it up. I screwed that up, Jeff.
You did.
Gosh.
She's Australian, mate.
No, the girl who plays the in Thor, like Ragnarok.
Yeah. Kate Blanchett, right? Are you talking about
Not Kate. I'm talking about the girl with the the one sword. Not the,
yeah. I know who you're talking about. She was in the new Men in Black
yes.
movie. Yeah.
Yep.
I know who you're talking about. Yep.
That's who I was thinking of when you were talking.
Okay.
So I had my people mixed up in my head, which happens quite frequently. They start talking, and I remember who they are.
You had your people crossed?
Well, the voices in my head were talking different languages and different accents, so there you go.
They got their tongues tangled.
It happens.
Hey, Sherlock Holmes at the Academy Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Nominated for Best Original Score. Hans Zimmer, your boy.
That's right. And it was good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Multiple reviews that I've read. I don't know if I include any of them, but a lot of people are like, the soundtrack slaps.
It does.
It was also nominated for Best Art Direction.
Nominated.
You know what? There you go.
That's our category, right?
That's our category of goodness. Did you notice on the opening scenes when they were, going through the cobblestone streets and, kind of going through that, I was taken back to Harry Potter.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. When he's going through like the leaky cauldron and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was taken right back. I wanted to bring it up and, but I was thinking about bringing it up. Then I was thinking maybe I shouldn't bring it up, but I brought it up. There you go.
Harry Potter, the movie that brought our attention to Best Art Direction.
Best art direction and cobblestones.
And cobblestones. Classic. Mm-hmm. Probably if you have cobblestones in your movie, you're going to be nominated for Best Art Direction. Or Production Design.
Production design.
You're a shoo-in.
You're a shoo-in.
Shoe is...
And you have a
Your
much
shoe's in.
better chance of winning Best Picture.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. won a Golden Globe for Best Actor.
Wow. So, Jeff, I can't remember if we were recording or not, but Best Actor for this movie, a Golden Globe for Best Actor for this movie?
In a musical or comedy. Not sure this movie fits either category.
I don't think it does, but Best Actor it is. There's another famous individual actor that's still alive right now who played Sherlock Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
And you had said that you haven't seen the English version of the series of this.
That's correct. Yes.
And there's like 4 seasons.
4 seasons, and they're like what? They're each like 2.5 hours long each episode.
3 episodes, and they're like a movie in and of themselves.
Yeah.
Each episode. You can't compare the two. I can't compare the two after watching.
You're talking about
Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict's performances.
Yeah.
In
No.
their rendition of Sherlock Holmes.
2 different ways
Styles
to go about it.
completely.
So you mean Guy Ritchie didn't direct the Benedict Cumberbatch?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, not at all. But I got to tell you, I love both of them.
Okay.
I
All right.
love both of them. I like Downey Jr.'s version. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch's version of what Sherlock Holmes is and how he interacts with people and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's some similarities, but still, for the movie's sake, Downey Jr. is pretty dang good.
So good. And this is a year after Iron Man, which is the ascent to him ultimately reaching the peak of
His career pinnacle.
the career pinnacle where he is, where so few actors and actresses get to be, and that's the biggest movie star on the planet.
And
Right.
he was.
Yeah, and he was. I mean,
He may still be.
yeah,
Recognized
he's
as-
definitely in the conversation.
Mhm.
I mean, the money he was making off of the MCU alone, it's just
Let's just call it what it is. It's stupid.
stupid. We were talking, I think one year he made like 80 something million dollars because he makes a percentage of what
The MCU.
the MCU movies make.
Yep.
It's just,
So needless to say, his family and generations to come are probably going to be okay.
yeah. Pretty incredible. I mean, he's had his trials and tribulations and adversity and all that stuff that he's had to go through.
Yeah.
You
Went
know.
to jail for a while, right?
Yeah, he did. I mean,
Yeah.
he had his challenges. He's fought his demons. Man, what a comeback story! if you want to call it that. I mean, if you look at his IMDb, I mean, he's when did he go to jail? He's like making movies
The whole
the
time.
whole time. He's in Bowfinger in '99.
Yeah. I heard a very quick interview, or some reporter asked him, hey, are you like Democrat or Republican kind of thing? And his response was, and I'm paraphrasing here, something along the lines of, I've been in jail. Of course I'm a Republican. I kind of giggled at that. But yeah. Reform, all that good stuff. So, but
The chemistry, he and Jude Law.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
Thick.
yeah.
I didn't expect them to have such good chemistry.
It really feels like they've been good friends and been working together for a long time.
And just the little glances that they give each other
Yeah.
all the way through everything.
This scene that we're looking at when he meets
Mary.
Mary, the bride to be, and that whole conversation piece, his reaction after she gets up and walks away, and after
She throws the wine in the face.
yeah, exactly, it's like it didn't faze him one single bit. He still was hard charging on keeping Watson with him, and
Yeah.
not with, his whole focus is to be there.
Way to go, old boy.
And the whole time, I mean, Jude Law, he's not really saying much, because Robert Downey Jr., he's doing most of the talking. He's interacting with Mary, right? But Jude Law, his face, I mean, there's this moment when they first sit down, he's introducing her to Sherlock for the very first time. I mean, there's this moment on his face where he's just so proud. But then he's watching Sherlock and listening to the things
And you
he's
can
saying.
you can also see there's a point where in just his face he goes, "Oh, don't do it." But he doesn't say it. He does.
He's not saying, but he's also saying like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
So good.
The acting chops
Yeah.
Yeah.
that these actors
They-
bring is incredibly good.
Everything they say just in their looks.
It really feels like everybody involved, they're just having such a good time doing this. And I don't know. I didn't look into it. I don't know if that actually was the case, but it definitely feels like they just had a blast. I mean, a third one's coming out in 2022.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think the lady that played Mary, she had a lot of facial expression and things in this scene too that just
There's the excitement of her getting to meet Sherlock Holmes and everything she's heard about him.
right.
So
the
she
love
kinda,
between her and Jude Law and that whole thing, and she's tentative about meeting the best friend but excited, and then all this whole reveal of her past, and embarrassed but
And pissed.
yeah.
I mean, she gets the embarrassment and the pissed off thing going at the same time really well.
Yeah.
Jude. Yeah, it's just a good.
good scene. Good
Really good
scene.
scene.
And it's just a perfect example of really what this movie's filled with.
Yeah.
Top 3 at the U.S. box office. Avatar. Really, I mean, dominated not just the U.S. box office, but the
world.
Worldwide.
global box office. Still to this day. Number 2, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, followed by Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I think when we did our Harry Potter series, that was clear cut the number 1 Harry Potter movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, some other movies that came out in 2009. Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Squeakquel. 2012, The Proposal, Paul Blart Mall Cop, and The Hangover. Sherlock Holmes was released Christmas Day, 2009. We've Got Some Rules.
We've already broke one of them.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, at least it's the third one, not the first one.
Right. So we'll start. In case you haven't seen Sherlock Holmes, pause this. Go watch.
Yeah.
Come back.
I went backwards.
Press
Can you do that
play.
again?
Pause this.
Pause this.
Go watch.
Okay.
Then come back.
Okay.
Press play.
All right. Thanks,
check,
man. Thanks.
check us out. Listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, hit that button.
Press that bell notification so you get notified when we drop a new video. Seriously, thank you for listening and watching. We appreciate it. Rule number 2. The movie has to have a runtime of less than 130 minutes.
Did we make it?
129, we did.
You know what?
Wow.
Talking about squeakles, squeaking in there, man.
Squeaking in there.
Squeakle.
Woo. And last but not least, the movie has to be made within the last 13 years.
You know, that selection committee keeping us on point. Keeping us on point, folks. I like them. I like them a lot.
Directed. Well, let's do $90 million budget.
Wow.
Sherlock Holmes brought in $524 million at the box office.
Wow.
Woo!
Not a bad little
Not a bad haul. You know, a year after Iron Man, I think people were like, hey, you know what? This Robert Downey Jr. guy, I think he's got it.
He might have it
He
figured out.
Let's go. Yeah. It started quick. I remember seeing Iron Man in theater and just being like blown away. Like, what a fun movie.
It was
I
a
get it.
blast.
It was a
Yeah.
good movie.
Literally a blast in some cases.
I think a lot of people put like a lot of like entertainment shares into Robert Downey Jr., you know?
If you could buy shares.
Yeah. Be like, you
Yeah.
know what? Next movie this guy makes, I'm going to go see.
Yeah.
69% Rotten Tomatoes.
A little above Happy Gilmore.
A little above Happy Gilmore.
I'm surprised that it wasn't even higher than that.
Yeah, like at least in the 70s, you know, you're thinking
Yeah.
maybe 75% of...
I got some ideas
Positive
about why it
reviews.
was so low on Rotten Tomatoes.
Didn't have
We'll
rockets
We'll
in
get to
it.
that in a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Directed by Guy Ritchie. We talked about the soundtrack composed by the great Hans Zimmer.
The great Hans Zimmer.
The sequel, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, with Downey and Law returning, was released on December 16th, 2011. A third film is scheduled for release in 2022, with Downey and Law reprising their roles.
Cool.
But with a new director, Dexter Fletcher.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Directors.
Some critical response, Roger Ebert. 3 out of 4 stars. Highlighted the film's strong characters, visuals, and action-packed plot.
See, 3 out of 4 stars.
Cool.
Leonard Maltin, 2 out of 4 stars. Annoying in the extreme and unintelligible at times, the film gets better in the second half as an actual story emerges. But the overuse of Ritchie-branded editing and CGI effects is deadening.
Not a Guy Ritchie fan.
No. Is that kind of maybe where you were leaning with your theories?
Did you want me to get into that right now?
Yeah, before we get into the Google synopsis, I would like to hear.
So you had brought up that we have talked about this movie before.
We have.
Organically, just kind of coming up. In one of our conversations from a long time ago, in the production meetings that we've had, for preparing for these shows, we had talked about this, where people want to be entertained, and this movie, though I believe it's very entertaining, I think there's a large crowd out there that don't see this movie as entertaining.
Because?
They have to think and, put 2 and 2 together here and there and, let the
too much
story.
work.
It's too much work to follow along sometimes. When I first watched this movie, I remember thinking part of the way through going, I better pay attention if I want to follow the story. And I did, because I wanted to focus on the storyline. And it was wonderful. I enjoyed it, and I enjoy that kind of movie.
But it's not a Happy Gilmore where everything's
It's not a 50 First Dates. It's,
Nope.
right.
Yeah.
It's definitely one that you need to pay attention to and to enjoy it. And if you have a hard time holding your attention span for more than 5 minutes for something, this might not be the movie for you. Unless you like Robert Downey Jr., in which case he's phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, and Jude Law and Mark Strong, terrific bad guy. Lord Henry Blackwood, Rachel McAdams, as always. Just, yeah.
Who's the nemesis for... Who's the girl? What's her name again? Can't remember her name.
Rachel McAdams,
Yeah.
who she plays, Irene.
Irene Adler.
Yeah.
Adler.
How about that diamond ring
Yeah.
at the end?
There's the
jump.
Irene I know.
The giant ring.
Yeah.
Got the Maharaja's necklace turned into a ring.
I love it.
I think it comes in half her hand. A stolen artifact given as a wedding ring. Love it.
I guess it does fit in the comedy a little bit.
There's some funny parts in there.
Probably more so like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, where he's trying out the new medicine on the dog. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
just little things on the side. Where
You've killed the dog again.
Again.
He calls the superintendent nanny.
yeah,
Nanny.
my nanny goat, nanny.
Google synopsis. Ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm laughing out of hatred for Google Synopsis. But yeah,
It's
go ahead.
yeah,
Is it 5 paragraphs long? I expect it to be.
6.
Wow.
When a string of brutal murders terrorizes London, it doesn't take long for legendary detective Sherlock Holmes and his crime-solving partner Dr. Watson to find the killer, Lord Blackwood. A devotee of the dark arts, Blackwood has a bigger scheme in mind, and his execution plays right into his plans. The game is afoot when Blackfoot seems to rise from the grave, plunging Holmes and Watson into the world of occult and strange technologies.
I hate Google Synopsis. I'm just going to follow that
Why?
up with I hate it.
What? Where is this coming from?
Synopsis. Just give me a synopsis. That's all I'm asking for is a synopsis. Don't tell me what you thought about the movie and all that happy crap.
Don't give us a review at the same time.
Yeah, knock it off. Jeez. I don't know if you can feel this or you can feel it even through the camera. I freaking hate these guys. Whoever does these for Google needs to shut it down. They need to shut it down and call it good.
Detective Sherlock Holmes and his stalwart partner Watson engage in a battle of wits and brawn with a nemesis whose plot is a threat to all of England.
Thank you for a decent synopsis.
IMDb in the clutch.
IMDb
Every time.
comes through all the time. Google.
I don't want to shut out Google Synopsis because it's just,
It's been too much fun.
yeah.
I can't even say it. I can't even say it. That's what their synopsis should be every time. And that's about it. It'd be better than what they put out every time.
Literally.
Literally better every time. It's a movie. They could do that, and that'd be just fine for me.
What do you think of Guy Ritchie movies? I mean, were you familiar with them at all?
Let's. You got some on the tip of your tongue for Guy Ritchie movies?
Well, recently there's King Arthur, there's Revolver, there's Layer Cake.
Older ones?
The Gentleman is a newer one. Older. I'm trying to go older.
I've heard his name on multiple occasions. I can't attribute a single movie besides this one that he's done that I've really enjoyed because I probably didn't pay attention to who directed it.
Right.
Not somebody that I've been like, oh, it's a Tarantino movie. I want to go watch it.
I think I don't know. He seems to have a little bit of a cult following.
Okay.
You know, there's the Guy Ritchie fans that are.
Well, Leonard obviously doesn't like him, or it was Leonard or one of the other ones.
Yeah, Leonard Maltin. Oh yeah,
Just hates
The
him.
Gentleman,
just the
Snatch,
deadening. Yeah,
Lock,
Snatch.
Stock,
I mean, it is
Rock
good.
and Rolla,
Snatch had Brad Pitt.
Uncle,
Yeah.
Revolver,
Revolver. Yep.
Snatch was a
King
great
Arthur,
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes,
movie. If you could understand what Brad Pitt was snang.
Mean
Snake.
Machine, Aladdin,
Oh, that's right. Aladdin. He did the
live action, Swept Away,
live action.
yeah, Governor.
I think that Snatch is the only other movie that I recognize him for, and that was a fun movie. But it's more of It's more of a cult movie than anything.
Yeah.
Not an occult movie, but a cult following movie.
Oh, okay.
It's
All right,
got
I'm
a
glad.
cult
Yeah,
following.
yeah. Not an occult following.
Right.
Eh.
But Brad in that movie was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I like when Brad Pitt does those kinds of fun, like the Floyd,
Yep.
Right.
just not the serious dramatic stuff when it's like he's having fun. I like the Tyler Durdens and like stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Snatch. I know he was having fun because it was fun watching him.
The Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When he plays like a character, he's one of the best character actors.
What was the movie he was in? It was really early on in his career, and he played the devil.
Brad
And
Pitt. Oh yeah. Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black, and that was a remake of a movie that was done.
Yeah.
I really liked Meet Joe Black. I thought that was a fun movie. It didn't get a lot of accolades or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Not a lot of positives.
Not well received.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Brad Pitt because of he was stone faced through the whole movie, not showing hardly if any emotion, and making these snap decisions that were, catastrophic for this whole family, basically. It was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, I remember that movie. I know we're getting kind of sidetracked from episode Sherlock Holmes, but I remember watching that, and that was pretty early. I think I was maybe just out of high school when I first saw that, and I was kind of like on the edge of my seat watching that movie.
Yeah. Where's this going to go?
Yeah, there was just something about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Back to Sherlock Holmes.
We like Sherlock Holmes.
What was the one thing you liked about the movie or didn't like about the movie? I mean, in a general sense of movie going, is there anything about the plot or anything in particular that really stood out?
Oh, I like Irene.
Irene's a
Come
great character.
on.
Oh yeah.
I like it. And there's the Irene I know.
Yes.
When he follows her and he thinks everything's, something's a little off about the tale
Something's afoot.
Yeah, that the tale that she tells. So he follows her, and there's the Irene I know.
Yeah, the flower salesman in the alleyway, and she takes them both out.
Got a knife to his throat, takes the flowers, and hops in the carriage.
Yep, she's a bad mamma jamma. Yeah, definitely one to watch out for.
I enjoy like the little reveals throughout the movie, like this whole thing with Irene. She goes back into the carriage, and there's Moriarty, and then the homeless guy, the beggar, that you then find out a few minutes later is Holmes. And then we go through how he got to that point.
His version, her version.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really enjoyed when the show wrapped up and they finally name dropped Moriarty.
Yeah.
He's always been a nemesis for Holmes and just about every other rendition of Sherlock Holmes, right? And so for me, it was always waiting to hear about Moriarty, right? And realizing that finally they reveal through an excellent storytelling for me. It was fun. And then they finally dropped Moriarty, and I knew there was a second movie coming.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. Now we're going to see the pit.
Yeah, but then to go back and rewatch, knowing it's him,
It's the same dude.
it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Because of the voice. The voice. But I thought it was so cool how like his whole face was blacked out, and it was just like his, it's just like his hat, kind of like he's like a phantom or
Yeah, and he is.
They played it very well.
Yeah.
Very, very
yeah,
well.
really well.
What do you think about the fight scenes?
It took some getting used to, I think, for me.
When you think about like somebody who's got an intellect of something crazy high and what they think about and how quickly they process and all that good stuff, I liked how they slowed it all down so that the layman, you and I, we can understand what's going on so quickly. It's not, because it's, he gets knocked down in the one where he's in the ring with the one dude, the first fight, and he realizes Irene Adler's in the crowd. and he's stumbling back towards where the handkerchief was, and in that time he realizes what he has to do to end this fight so quickly. It's like
The
boop, boop, boop,
very
boop, boop.
first scene in the movie, he is one of those slow motion decisions that he makes of how to take out the guy in the staircase. That's the very, very first scene
Sable
in
the
the
hearing.
movie. Yep.
Yep,
And
head cocked to the left.
and will he have problems for forever? Will it be disabling? Probably.
And he was okay with that.
Yeah. But it was part of the decision-making process,
I kind of dig. I like that because it just showcases the high level of intellect and speed of which somebody's thinking, and of telling a story of how to, I liked his rendition of how to tell how that actually happened. So I always appreciated the fight scenes for that.
Yeah, I like it because you get that kind of glimpse into how his mind works early on in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see it all throughout, and it's cool because they don't just do it for the fight scenes, but it's also how they show how his mind's like always going.
Yeah.
That
tumbler lock Rubik's cube kind of okay, click, and then it goes.
Yeah.
They do that for all the decisions. I mean, they show it for the fights, but it's going like that for every decision he makes.
I mean, it tricks me every time because it's been a while since I've seen it so I kind of forget, but like you kind of think he's kind of clueless, but then it's like reminding you, no, he's kind of playing a part a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's, whether he's fighting somebody or solving a crime, yeah.
Or dragging Watson along to make him feel like he's bringing that he's smart, when they go through the alleyways and they have to, they're trying to find their way to an HM, and oh look, there's HM, and then Watson realizes that he's been played this whole time, right? Just to drag him along, where they're trying to find what do they call him, a dwarf or a midget, one of the two, the redheaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a big tuffle about that.
Except that he's socially inept. He doesn't catch the social cues on things, and where his intellect just allows him to run over the social thing, like firing the handgun inside the house. It's perfectly okay for him because it's just a part of science. It's something that just has to be done to be able to get from point A to point B. This is the test that he has to do. It doesn't matter that it's socially unacceptable to fire a handgun inside the house.
What do you mean it's socially unacceptable?
right. Or to say the things to Mary that he said to her at the dinner table, or that there was some other answer to why,
Or poison the dog.
right, or
Multiple
right.
You killed the dog again.
I mean, geez.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the character of, Sherlock Holmes is incredible, and it just brings me back to you should watch the BBC version of Sherlock Holmes just because Benedict Cumberbatch does a very, very good job as well.
I will check it out. It's kind of been in my queue for a long time, and what's kind of turned me off of it was seeing the runtime of each episode.
Mm-hmm. And you can stop them. I mean, there's spots in there where it's a long story.
Yeah.
And it's a good story to watch, though. It's fun because it goes through 4 seasons to basically try to find the end of the whole Moriarty thing.
Okay.
And it's big, dude.
Okay.
And again, it's a thinking person's show.
And that may be a big problem because while I'm watching this, my wife's laying on the couch with me, and she reminds me, I don't really like movies like this because I get so confused. I'm like, yeah.
This might be one of those late night ventures.
Yeah.
Where you spend 45 minutes watching it and then shut her down and then pick it up where you left off.
Yep. I think this was just what it's going to be.
I think the acting chops that those Holmes and Watson in the BBC version do will drag you along.
Okay.
They're very good.
Yeah. I'm always down for a good performance.
Yep, I think they do really well, just like this movie, where the acting chops just drag you along.
And I like both the guys in the BBC series.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're very, very talented.
Do you like the BBC series
I
as well?
did.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll check it out.
The lady, the landlord in the BBC one is better.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, then the
she's-
landlord in this? Oh, yeah.
She's
Way better.
She's got fire, man. Oh, it's good.
You got some sass.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's on point, man.
Okay.
She's this older English lady, and she don't pull no punches, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Now there are people who are fans of the BBC series that
Didn't like this.
do not like
I can understand
this
why.
movie. Yeah.
I can absolutely understand why. And it's an English born series, right? Or character, right? So by far and away, why would somebody not English portray Sherlock Holmes?
So this whole Blackwood thing, Lord Blackwood. First off, the guy that plays him, he did so good. The voice and everything. He sounds like a Lord Blackwood.
Yeah.
He's in that. He's in the movies. I just watched The Kingsman.
Oh,
Have
really?
you seen those?
Yeah.
He just plays such a good bad guy.
He does. Even when he's a good guy, it's like, man,
He's got a
Exudes.
crooked tooth. The whole
the
crooked tooth.
He's
thing.
got that English accent, that specific English accent that you want from a bad guy.
Yep. Because all Englishmen are bad.
I think the guy that plays Loki too. With Tom.
Middleton.
Yes, he's good.
Yep.
He's good as well.
Good bad guy.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Hiddleston, not Middleton.
Yeah,
Hiddleston.
What did you think of the copper? This one.
The dunce.
No. The inspector guy, right?
The dunce.
The one that puts out the warrant for his arrest. Yeah. That reveals yeah, he's good.
That was all a setup,
We know that.
Yeah, right.
which was beautiful.
Yeah.
Which I didn't catch until when I first watched this. Until after the whole thing, I was like, "Oh, God. I didn't see it coming. I didn't even see it coming the second time I saw it.
I think he's really. Hold on, I have to see who it is because I think he's so good. He's obviously overshadowed by Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law,
Oh yeah,
Rachel McAdams, Mark Strong, Eddie Marson, Inspector
Lestrade.
Lestrade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember saying Lestrade.
Yeah.
I just think of Interview with the Vampire when I hear Lestrade.
Okay. I mean,
think he-
that's Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I think he did a fantastic job
Yeah.
of, like you said, being the dunce,
yeah, not an overly bright inspector.
no, always being late to the show, always being led around right by Sherlock Holmes, always
Now that we're fully informed of the obvious,
right, right,
right?
yeah. And if I would have listened to what you had to say, you would have been pulling a corpse out of here.
That's right. Ooh. In that scene, when Watson was going to run up and put chains on Lord Blackwood, the whole glass piercing thing that he had in his hands, when Blackwood put his hands out and he had that freaking piercing thing, it was pointed right at his eyeball, right? I was like, oh my gosh.
It's awfully close.
Clever. Oof. That'd have been disastrous.
Oh, that would have been nasty. Very cringy. All right. Some reviews.
Yeah, let's hit some
We got some
reviews.
reviews. By the way, if you want to send us any reviews on any movies we've done, send them to us. We'll read them. We will not be critical of your review. We just like to have fun.
Much.
We just like to have fun. Okay?
I mean, why would we be critical of any review?
Ever.
We're not critical people.
No, never. Even if there's a fire.
Much.
Much. Critical.
All right.
Critical much.
Let's kick this off. I hadn't seen this movie in a few years. I'd forgotten what an absolutely delightful film this is. Promise, I did not write that.
Are you certain?
I know there's a trend here.
Because
Some of these sound like I have not. Maybe it's I pick out the ones that
you think you would have written.
trust me.
Roten.
Roten.
I don't need to, create more work for myself to try to fake reviews.
I think Jeff just writes these and just to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's pulling our chain.
Robert Downey Jr. is my style icon. Also, this soundtrack slaps.
And is that another thing for, like, getting the hands or getting clapped? No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't- Not clapping. However you misused that phrase before. All right. The best Sherlock Holmes movie.
The best?
The best.
That's it? The
Yeah,
best
the
Sherlock,
best Sherlock
Holmes.
Holmes movie.
Wow.
It probably is the best movie for Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, probably. Granted, I haven't seen many Sherlock Holmes adaptations, but I'm fairly confident this is the best one.
Right on.
Wow.
Pretty positive review.
Yeah. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, and no one can convince me it isn't a masterpiece.
I don't know that I would go that far. I mean, it was a good movie, but I don't know, masterpiece?
Challenge accepted?
I mean, it's a good movie, but
I enjoy the movie very much.
I won't go to masterpiece.
All right, let's flip the script because not everybody felt so positively about
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes.
That's unfortunate.
It is. First one. I effing hate this film.
There you go.
There always seems to be someone that hates.
Effing hate this movie.
It's not the same person. I think
Are
there's
you
just
sure?
a rotation of people that are just.
I'm wondering if, like, there isn't a person that just writes that for every movie that's
Yeah.
on the list. I effing hate
Movie
this
1.
movie.
Yeah. Cut, copy, paste. Movie 2. Cut, copy, paste.
What movie do we hate today? All right, next one. An insult to Sherlock.
Oh.
Ouch.
Took it personally.
Oof.
There's some history there. Something's
There-
going on.
They've got a personal connection with Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. Maybe they are themselves a crime fighting sleuth.
Maybe.
Okay.
Feel like I watched a completely different film compared to everyone else. First film in a long time I've questioned the will to live while watching, and I've watched The Nut Job 1 and 2 recently.
Wow. Strong
wow.
words.
Ouch,
The will
yeah.
to live
Yeah.
had been shaken.
The Nut Job, I saw The Nut Job 1. That was not a very good movie. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. I get it. Guy Ritchie is the type of guy who gets handed a pile of shit and somehow makes it worse.
I
think, from reading the Leonard Moulton review, there definitely, I guess he rubs people the wrong way. Maybe.
Guy Ritchie.
His style.
I'm wondering if Leonard Maltin actually took another handle and wrote that last one.
Maybe.
That's what I'm guessing because it sounds Leonard Maltin-ish.
Right. Like he retired, but he's like, he kind of does this on his free time.
Freelance.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby, yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm looking at Guy Ritchie's list of movies, and I'm going, for the most part, they're not my favorite movies.
Right.
And there's one or two that I would pick out, but I would not go, I'm a Guy Ritchie fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not. Snatch and this movie are by far my favorites of his.
Yeah. I enjoyed the King Arthur. It's not even close to, I don't know if it even really works. It's entertaining, but,
I hadn't seen it.
All right. I like The Gentleman. Matthew McConaughey. That came out last year.
I didn't see it.
Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell. I always
Farrell?
get them mixed up.
Farrell played Deadeye. I mean, not Bullseye in the terrible movie of Daredevil.
That's Colin Farrell, right?
That's Colin Farrell.
Okay, yeah. So it's Colin Farrell.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell. Hugh Grant.
Well, Hugh Grant's good.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
So what's the rest of the bad reviews? I can't wait to hear these.
All right. This is just not a good iteration of the classic detective. It's just bad.
I'm so happy that people put in details of what's good and what's bad.
Right.
And for the most part, I am literally copying and pasting what someone says. Everything what someone says.
Right.
With the exception of one or two.
Okay.
So most people are not, this is all they're giving me.
Wow.
Okay.
This kind of sums it up, this last one here. I wanted to write an entire paragraph on why this movie sucks, but then realized that it wasn't worth it. There's our answer. Because it wasn't worth it.
Well, that answers my question. It just wasn't worth it for them to give any details of why it sucked.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
What don't you like about this movie?
That's a rough one, Jeff, because I like the movie.
That is a tough question about, I mean, even if, because I've been asked this about movies that I give 3.5, 4 stars, and I'm like, you know what, I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. What don't you like about the movie? It's not always easy to answer, right?
Correct.
I usually go to like a movie like this. Maybe it's too long, a little bit.
It was a little long. I'm okay with that though.
Yeah.
But if I had to have a detraction from this movie, maybe the length. But the length did it for me because it told the story better for me. For me. Not for somebody else, but for me. Maybe it could have been shorter.
Here's another question that I usually often have a hard time with. If there's anything you could, what would you change about this movie?
About this movie?
Yeah. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's just, these are questions I get asked sometimes about movies that I like. Is there a need to change a movie that you like, even if it's not perfect? You know?
Here's the problem with that question. I'm not the creative type.
Yeah.
And
Maybe that's it.
and that's where it goes. I enjoy somebody's rendition of what is entertainment, what they think is entertainment,
Yeah.
and I will judge whether it's entertaining to me or not. But that's as far as it goes, because I couldn't do, like, let's look at Velocipaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could I do better with Velocipaster?
100%.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But still, I couldn't even get that off the ground to begin with, because I would never think of that.
Exactly.
And
Right.
so that question is completely unfair to me.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if you're writing a review, you should have a reason why you don't like it.
Especially, yeah, if you're writing a negative review,
Yeah.
what don't you
When we did Velocipaster, we had plenty to say about why it sucked.
yeah,
we were very
And
specific with some of those things.
with just only watching 10 minutes of it.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And we gave reasons why it was terrible. But this movie, I can't think of anything that I would change differently or that I disliked about it. I really can't. Art
Because our reviews are positive.
direction. Generally
So
speaking,
I guess if you leave a negative review, should you at least give us something why?
Tell why. You know, oh, it was bad. Why? What part of it was bad? What was it? No storyline? Was it too long? Was it not funny? Was the acting bad? Was the sound off? Did you not like the music?
Well, I didn't see it, but a friend of mine told me,
how bad it was.
keeps telling me how great it is. And it's just annoying, so I gave it half a star.
We've had that review.
Multiple times.
Right.
Yeah, it's been more than once. So,
Right.
hey, and everybody is entitled to give their review, so
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, we could look at this podcast and go, "Hey, your guys' podcast sucks." Great,
It's happened.
and yeah, it's happened. We had one bad review that they were fairly specific in what they didn't like,
Yeah.
which was fine.
Yep.
I dig that kind of stuff. That's something that is actually engaging, right? So somebody thought about it and said, "Here you go, chew on that, suckers."
Even though, yeah, doesn't really make sense, but thank you.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's uplifting. Okay, that was a stretch. It's not uplifting.
I
Not
just love
uplifting.
that the whole town. I mean, if I'm going to go like dark side and pick it apart, that the whole town, everybody is in browns and mud and grays. And then Rachel McAdams comes in. She's the only person in pink, in any kind of color.
As it should be.
As it should be, Karen.
I'm like,
I think it's like that in every movie she's in, man. It could just be how
yeah.
I see her.
I mean, if you look in the probably so. But-
does anybody else see like doves fly out from behind
From her ass, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody
Wow.
else hear like
There you
the voices
go.
of angels when she
If I
comes on
didn't, I
screen?
do now, Karen.
I got it.
I do.
That bustle on that pink dress. Woo. Well,
A little bit of junk going on there.
on that dress, yeah.
That's right. Well, I don't know how much more we get to say about this movie. What about you, Jeff? You got anything else you were pressing to?
No,
really
I mean
talk
out
about?
of 5 stars. I mean, where does this sit with you guys?
I'm at 4.
I'm
Easy.
at 3.
Yeah, I gave 4.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 stars. Yeah.
Yep. And then the anticipation of finding out who Moriarty is in the next movie and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's what drives the stars up for me is the continuation. I love that they made a good movie. And now we're going to get to see another good movie.
Yep. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see with a new director. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, it's still
Does he carry the
Robert.
torch well?
right. Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, Sue.
Yeah. It's exciting to see their, like you said, how they work together. That'll be a fun carryover into the next movie.
I mean, and after all this time too, and how much more Robert Downey Jr. has accomplished and where they're at in their careers now, I think it even takes it up a notch. You know, it's gonna. I think
You think the expectation is going to be really high?
I don't know if expectations going to be high. I know Robert Downey Jr. He had that Doolittle movie that people didn't really seem to care for as much.
I didn't watch it.
I haven't seen it. But at least in my eyes, I don't know if the expectations are going to be high, but my level of excitement is going to be high.
There you
My
go.
level of anticipation is going to be high.
That's going to ruin the movie for you. You know that, right?
Probably.
Yep.
So I think that in and of itself
So
makes
tone
the
it down.
expectations.
Tone it down, Jeff.
buddy. Tone it down.
Just let it be a movie.
My expectation is I'm hoping for a good story
Yeah.
continuation, which would be excellent. But at the same time, I'm tempering my excitement with knowing that it's going to be a new director and not going to expect very much from it. So overall, I will fully expect to be disappointed. And if I come away not disappointed, I win.
That's what I try to do with every movie, right? If you expect to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see with a lot of these, especially with the Matrix movies, right? I mean, people's expectations, I think, were just way too high.
Way too high, yeah.
But anything else for Sherlock Holmes?
One last thing. The line that Robert Downey Jr. says in this scene right here, when the ship sinks out in the harbor. What did you do, Watson?
And the look that Jude Law gives. Just like,
Just makes you giggle. It doesn't
Yeah.
make it like straight up laugh. It wasn't hysterical, but you just go, what an ass.
Have you guys seen the movie Contagion?
No, and on purpose.
Okay. I found it very entertaining when it first came out, and then I rewatched it when the whole COVID stuff started.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, pretty depressing.
Right.
But Jude Law's in there, and he's so good. Like he is in like everything he's in. But so I'm watching this with my wife, and there's a scene where he's laughing. Or maybe it was Game of Shadows. Yeah, because he had his bachelor party.
yeah.
Was that Game of Shadows? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so they're at the table, and I think he's laughing. And then my wife saw his teeth and was like, oh, those got to be fake teeth. I was like, oh, maybe you're right. So then I Googled Jude Law teeth, and I can't see anything about fake teeth except for Contagion, because I have in my mind, because he's got like a chipped tooth, crooked teeth in that movie. So I'm like, well, yeah, I saw him in that movie, and he had chipped, crooked teeth. Well, apparently those were fake teeth
Oh, wow.
for that movie.
Okay.